Recently, the capacity of the organization has been weakened as member countries have funded work on a project-by-project basis instead of supporting the organization as a whole. The Commonwealth Secretariat cannot be a viable vehicle for transformation if it is treated as a consulting agency. It must be supported as a strong and independent multilateral organization, one that can count on adequate and predictable core funding on a consistent basis. And I'm convinced that agreement around the vision for a new Commonwealth will help unite the Commonwealth to rally around an effective Secretariat. As Secretary General, God willing, I will work with member countries to stabilize the Commonwealth's finances. An ambitious Commonwealth should be funded at comparative levels as other multilateral organizations are funded. Together with a more credible program resource envelope, it is time to review the human resourcing and budget of the Secretariat. This would enable more resources to be plowed back into programs, as well as ensuring a resilient Secretariat with long-term stability, attracting and retaining the best of the Commonwealth's talent in service of all members. Across the organization, we need to make decisions on how we take advantage of the expertise from member states, including from academia, research organizations, as well as the private sector. As we second them, we second our members, our citizens to the Secretariat to enable the cross-fertilization that will enrich the work of the Secretariat and also transform the Commonwealth. We should be creative in tapping into the pool of experienced and retired Commonwealth professionals. And there are many who want to offer their expertise pro bono to Commonwealth countries. I support the adoption of the International Public Service Accounting Standards, the IPSAS, as well as reforms of the governance system. This requires the formalization of the role of the Board of Governors as an executive board, reporting to the ministerial and the CHOGM, with the authority to discuss management, financial, and audit matters as in any comparable international organizations. In this regard, the periodicity of CHOGMs and the use of virtual conferencing to reduce cost and carbon footprints has to be part of our reform agenda. I propose to create a representational office in the Pacific, while upgrading existing ones in order to better serve the needs of members. For me, this is so important. There must be a representational office in the Pacific because of the very peculiar challenges with climate and other things that they face, so that we can have quick responses, proactive responses, reactive to their issues. This also requires greater coordination with Commonwealth Foundation and the Commonwealth of Learning in order to build on synergies and comprehensively realize the ambitious goals of reform. Similarly, the Commonwealth should ramp up its cooperation with international organizations, including the United Nations funds and programs to enhance the benefits of programming for Commonwealth countries. This is extremely important. Those partnerships are key in order that the Commonwealth will get close to the organizations that control funding, because all the member states are members of the big United Nations. And so if there are any funds, we should be able to access these funds. So to conclude, I believe that we are in this together. I believe that if we are to meet the ambitions of the citizens of the Commonwealth, it is clear that we need a development cooperation framework that works for all the Commonwealth as a community. Such a model cannot be based on the assumptions of progress, under which assistance from rich donors to recipient nations lead to slow, incremental change in the developing countries and locks in financial and other inflows to the donor countries. Either way, this is a cooperation model that is not working for industrialized or developing parts of the Commonwealth. We need to do things differently. We have to redefine the Commonwealth values. The commitment to democracy and peace, justice and human rights as the sum of a democratic dividend that includes guaranteeing a high living standard for each Commonwealth citizen, and also to provide social protection for all generations. While our historic association reinforces shared traditions and norms for our cooperation, our Commonwealth values should provide a standard for good governance, peace and security, and prosperity based on the empowerment of women and young people, both boys and girls. We need to amplify the voices of small and vulnerable states and advocate for sustainable development in terms of both the green and the blue economies. We need to acknowledge that the true value of our Commonwealth is our common health, our common well-being, and our common lives, building on our common values. We need to leverage our common wealth and economic potential, as well as potential for reprofiling to build resilience in the face of our changing world.